So okay, hello. Hello for who might watched. I'm back after a month being grounded. Only 32 weeks ago, and before that was 2 weeks of absence also. Today I'm gonna do one streaming, probably maybe two, I don't know, no, probably one. It's gonna be a training stream. Let me check all the settings. Hello for okay, sound is there, and it's gonna be operational training for me today. Something you need to do from time to time. I'm gonna do taxiing, practice landing runs, and takeoff circuit and landing, and most of all I will focus on landing. My touchdowns were awful lately. That's because of not much practicing. So, and we got SteelSkies Metal War SLT server, which is always good for training, almost good weather, almost always available, and quite long missions, 4 hours. Just as usual. Oh, somebody is already there. No one. Just as usual, my usual airfield. Let's set up skin, normal, no modifications, normal weapon settings, 100% fuel, accept, and we're ready to go. My track air should be okay. I will check it in a moment. Yes, it's all set. And we're ready to go. I understand it's quite boring to watch, but I love those missions. Training operational skills, refresher, practice. And let's start. First, controls configuration for taxiing. I use it standard for stabilized climbing attitude. And the only difference is canopy open and engine start. Well, now it's only 40 minutes till mission end. I hope that will be enough for me to do my normal taxiing practice. I've got no problems with that, but landing runs, I'm gonna taxi from this point to here, then do some practice landing runs, which should be okay in P-40, but who knows, maybe I will circle. I'm lacking skills. I wasn't in game for 2 weeks and only 130 last month. So I'm aware of circles or circling, error, mistakes, possibility. And then new mission's gonna begin. We will respawn and do takeoff, circuit and landing, which I should do at least once a month. I didn't do that for about half a year probably. My touchdowns on landings are very, very bad. I don't like it. Parking brakes off. And start moving. Right now I'm on gravel, on grass. I need about 1500 RPM engine power to start moving on such a surface. And after that I turn immediately. I will practice taxiing on asphalt tarmac, which is gonna be a little bit tricky for me, and engine power required for that type of tarmac is about 1000 RPM. That now I'm experiencing a circling attempt and I'm not able to prevent circling without using brakes. I'm using brakes. I've got an intention not to use brakes on taxiing, but that was normal for low operational skills. And my power, I would say a little bit less than I need. It's 1000, exactly 1000 RPM. I need 1030, maybe 1040 RPM. But of course I will not be able to set it with my throttle lever. As I have said earlier many times, on low engine power modes, when your RPM is low, your RPM governor doesn't work. So any throttle movement causes RPM change. But that's quite convenient, because on such a low manifold pressure gauge doesn't work either. So with your RPM gauge you're able to control your power, your exact amount of engine power you deploy. That's very convenient. But as you can see, I would say my engine power is a little bit not enough, but I will not be able to set one hundred thirty 1030 RPM. Let's try anyway. Oh, I moved throttle lever a little bit forward. It's now it's 1030 RPM. I was lucky. Maybe even 1020 RPM. I'm do S-turning. No circling attempts so far, no circles. Well, speed is very low. That's easy to not to circle on such a low speed, and I do not use any braking, any brakes. I steer only with my rudder surface. My prop gives aerodynamic force on my rudder, so that helps me to steer even without using any brakes. That's quite for me quite interesting to have that skill, to use that skill. Taxiing becomes not boring at all, and I like this airfield for very wide taxi runways. All other airfields in the vicinity, even if they give you concrete, not gravel but concrete taxi runways, those concrete taxi runways are very narrow, so they are not inconvenient for taxiing procedure, for S-turning, and you need to do your S-turning not only not to hit anything or anybody ahead of you, but most of all to watch the surface condition ahead of you. Of course, this game doesn't give you such a level of realism, so all tarmac is the same, but that's asphalt tarmac. But who knows, maybe someday more realistic game will release and we will have dumps, muddy patches, icy, cracks in surface, some pits or anything, dirt, and you will need to steer around those patches. Okay, I've got almost 40 minutes to my for my practice landing runs procedure. Now I am on rolling into start position, readiness position, canopy close. Now I am somewhere here and my start position is over there. That position is right there, just right next to me on the right. Next I will practice rolling out into my start position part, and then I will do some practice landing runs, and I will try to do that without circling. That will be tricky. I expect some problems, some issues, some errors, some mistakes. Okay, in 0 seconds I will start moving. All set. Throttle forward 1500 RPM or more. Now she's moving, throttling back, not letting her accelerate, not letting her circle, not using any brakes. My takeoff heading is 150. That was okay. Braking on low speed and throttle forward in 5 seconds until 39 inches manifold pressure. That was well made. Throttling back without accelerating, and now I'm gonna change my control settings into landing configuration. That's gonna be 90% elevator trim, 10-12% on the left wing aileron trim, and I can't remember, 22 left rudder trim. Canopy open. That's gonna be my configuration for after landing, after I complete my landing run. And next mission part is high speed taxiing. To clear the runway, I shift left on for that to clear the runway, and apply high speed taxiing power settings. I use normal taxiing power settings plus 15%. That's gonna be 1200 RPM power mode. And as you can see, I'm S-turning while taxiing on higher speed. I could increase speed, but that will not be safe for me in terms of circling. That procedure you need to let next group member have a safe landing, even if he's gonna get long landing. I was a little bit late on throttling back. I'm using brakes. While throttling back on high speed taxiing, she's changing her behavior because of changed aerodynamic influence on rudder. Your prop doesn't create such airflow, and your airplane taxiing behavior changes. Okay, that wasn't good. 180 degree turn. Next, I lower my flaps. So that's gonna be landing configuration. I'm gonna do practice landing runs and try to avoid circling. And while commencing that practice landing runs, acceleration for that practice landing runs, I practice 5-second throttling forward for takeoff procedure. You need that to be gentle with your engine, and this P-40E engine is very capricious. If you move forward too quickly, move throttle forward too quickly, engine's gonna fail. So you should be. That's a circle. That's a circle. That's what I've been talking about. That lack of operational readiness training. I knew I'm gonna have that. That's why you need training. I like those training missions. Okay, for one more high-speed taxiing practicing the other way right now. This time I'm gonna choose right side of landing strip. But in normal procedure, that's gonna be left side. All procedures over airfield should be to the left. That's for order, for less issues, less errors, and I'm picking up the right timing for the right timing. That's another Another circling. I'm rusty, I'm very rusty. I knew that's gonna happen. I am very rusty. Well, but anyway, for any combat mission, historical air war training isn't available. For some reason they do not switch it on. I don't know why. Maybe they like to be asked for switching it on. That's very toxic behavior, I would say. Not right. And now I'm trying 180 to the left without using any brakes, and I should stop having heading 150 plus minus 5 degrees and I should do that without using any brakes or with very late braking on very low speed, and I should do that quickly. As you can see, without using any brakes, my heading is now 148, 149. Quite good. Quite good. Once again, lower my flaps, wait until 0 seconds, and then I will move throttle forward gently, slowly in 5 seconds to reach 39 inches in 5 seconds. That's group flying training procedure for standard takeoff procedure. You can adjust a little bit. Okay, airspeed is okay. Let's focus on practice landing runs. Usually I'm quite good on that without any crosswind. That should be good, but without using brakes, I like it without using brakes. On particularly in low speed, you should be able not to circle, not to let your P-40 circle, and that was fine. Raise flaps, throttle forward, high speed taxiing on 1200 RPM, power, engine power. Trying not to touch the grass with your left wheel. Try not to circle, very gently, very easy with your controls, with your pedals. I've got the simplest joystick any player could have. That's a circle, that's a circle. I've touched the gravel with my left. Another circle attempt with my left wheel. Well, not good so far, no good. I've got the simple Thrustmaster joystick, no pedals, no rudder pedals. So I'm using twist. So if some of you will watch this and say you got very advanced gaming control devices, well, not advanced at all, the simplest device you can get on the market, but still that's all in your head, in your brain. Those skills, the most important part is your is yourself, your brain. Once again, canopy closed, lower flaps. Wait until 0:30 seconds. My heading is 330, okay. I knew I was gonna be fine with that part. And 30 seconds, throttle gently forward. Increasing manifold pressure in 5 seconds. Adjusting a little bit, 39 inches, that's quite good. That's satisfactory for me. Accelerating until 50-60 miles per hour and throttling back, trying not to let her circling. On high speed that's easier, on low speed that's harder, but still I've got simplest zero crosswind conditions. I should do those training in probably Finnish server conditions with crosswind. Raise flaps, canopy open, 1200 RPM. 1200 RPM, shifting right, S turning while taxiing on while high speed taxiing. Very gently, not letting her circle, and throttling back, let her decrease her airspeed. That's what I've been talking about. While you're losing aerodynamic influence from props, she changes her behavior. Okay, my 180 without using brakes were okay. Let's try those 180 with using brakes on one point. So stationary turns, stationary 180 turns with using brakes. And during your normal operations, you're gonna combine those no brakes turning and using brakes stationary turning, no brakes rolling turning, and stationary using brakes turning. You're gonna combine those for your safe and successful procedures. Canopy closed, flaps down, throttle forward. That wasn't right. That was 1 second quicker than I needed. Let's accelerate it more this time and use brakes on practice landing runs. Landing run. Throttling back. And using brakes. With using brakes, that's very easy. I do not push. I do very small brakes, pushing touches, very short braking. Consequence. Okay, let me set up my system a little bit. Okay, it's fine, and this time it's gonna be right stationary turning with brakes. Brakes on, power up, turning right, new headings 330. 330 plus minus 5 degrees, that's okay, canopy closed, flaps down. And throttle forward in 5 seconds. That was 1 second slower, 1 second slower than I needed, but anyway, more or less good. Let's accelerate even more this time. And throttling back. And brake. You start using brakes immediately. Very short touches of brake pedal. With using brakes, landing run is very easy. Canopy open, flaps up. Okay, those stationary 180 were quite easy for me. Let's repeat rolling 180 turns without using brakes. With a quite narrow landing strip, the trick is to let her start her circling, but not quite much, to control that circling. Other way you will not be able to do 180 in such a narrow strip. Oh, it's okay. Once again, canopy closed, flaps down. In 30 seconds I will start move my throttle lever forward. Throttle forward slowly in 5 seconds till 39 inches. Adjust a little bit. You can do 1 or 2 adjustments. The main thing is not to have too much manifold pressure, and to do that slowly in 5 seconds. So all procedure is gonna be standard for all group members. That's very important for group formation pattern after takeoff. Now I'm applying full brakes. I was too late on brakes. And another 180 turn without using brakes. Let's try and do that. You're gonna need to let her circle a little bit, but not to lose her. Now you have to be on a knife edge, letting her circling a little bit, but not losing her. That's quite good. I didn't retract flaps. And throttle forward. Slowly in 5 seconds. That was too quick. (1200 RPM for high-speed taxiing procedure. And now I'm gonna practice taxiing towards parking place. For that purpose I change my trim settings in neutral. Her behavior changes a little bit because of that. You have to be aware of that. You have to be ready for that change. And once again, normal speed taxiing. As you can see, I've spent about 5 or 7 gallons of fuel for that practice landing run training. I would say my taxiing speed is okay, not too fast, not too slow. Normal taxiing. it's about 10 minutes till mission end, and well, it's gonna be a short break, and next mission I will repeat taxiing to my rolling to the start readiness position, then I will roll to the start and do takeoff and circling and landing with all approach straight procedures, overhead brake pattern training, and landing glide, landing slope. And practice touchdowns. So that stream is gonna be very boring stream, but not boring gameplay for me, not boring at all. Anyway, I didn't play for 2 weeks, only one sortie 2 weeks ago, and before that I didn't play for another 2 weeks. So I had 3 hours of flight time last month. How do you like that? Some guys has got 30 hours a week. At least 30 hours a month, and I had 3 hours a month. I would say unacceptable. Just like in real life, those World War II era, that's circling, I need to apply brakes. Those World War II era airplanes, they require constant practicing. 2 weeks of absence, 2 weeks of not practicing, and you're gonna lose your skills. That's gonna be dangerous, unsafe. So you need constant practicing. That should be another circling, but my right wheel touched the gravel, and this game gives you quite weird physics, but I think the most realistic taxiing physics. Some reason they consider that gravel, that grassy surface to the sides of runway is so soft. Drag rolling drag resistance force is much higher than on asphalt. Well, I've got no any data, any evidences to say that isn't right, but who knows. Anyway, this Il2 Great Battles taxiing physics is the best physics. I do not play DCS, but what I see on videos on streaming, that's a joke, not physics. I mean taxiing physics, not flight model, but I've heard some opinions that flight model in this Great Battles is also better than in DCS. I've heard other opinions that in DCS better, but I consider. Anyway, I play only Great Battles. When Combat Pilot will release, I will play Combat Pilot. Definitely. So my flight time in Il2 Great Battles will reduce even more. I don't know how I will handle that. Let's park right next to the another US Army Air Force great B-25 and engines off. Well, short break, 5 minutes break. I will get me some water. Okay, I'm back with the kettle. So in the next stage of this training mission is takeoff circuit and landing. Once again, repeat our procedure. All set. We're ready to start. So next I'm gonna check my track IR settings. Some reason okay. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but track IR is set. Once again, RPM forward, 30% elevator trim up. I watch it on trim tab. Once again, I need to get in neutral first and then 5.5, that's gonna be 70, and 5.5 to the right, that's gonna be 35% to the left rudder. Half closed cowl shutters and the engine start. I don't do that usually, but for now I'm gonna set 0 on altimeter. I will not fly anywhere. This airfield is my today's target, a light target, stationary target, very good visual on that target. Great weather. And the next, I will not have very long stay, all about maybe hour and a half and maybe 2 hours. Lights on. And here we go. parking brakes off. Technochat is off, so you're not able to see that. And start 1500 RPM power. She starts rolling, and immediately tarmac is changed from gravel to asphalt, so I reduce power not to let her accelerate. I need to set up 1030-1040 RPM for such a weather, I think, maybe, and that's gonna be a problem. Well, 1045 RPM is set. That's why I like P-40, no troubles at all on concrete or asphalt tarmac, and even those steel plates on all airfields in the vicinity. P-40 is quite comfortable on that, but only this airfield gives you quite wide taxiing strips like that. All other taxiing strips on those airfields and on airfield on Thorn Island, they are quite narrow. That's inconvenient for normal taxiing operations. That was a circling attempt. I've managed to prevent that with full left rudder movement. You should be very gentle on your controls on this type of tarmac. On gravel surface it's quite opposite. You should be quite rough. That's beautiful, realistic taxiing physics. I like it. The next game should feature even more developed taxiing physics. No lowering the bar, only raising the bar. And let's say this week we all had beautiful news, beautiful videos with Jason Williams on his combat pilot, work in progress. Well, for me, I must say, a little bit concerning that Unreal Engine 5 news, but if he is confident physics will be there, well, that's good. That game's gonna be beautiful. As for me, the very important part of maritime operations is the visual of horizon, of sky, of water. Sometimes in the sea on low level you can have atrocious weather, but skyline will be visible, and sometimes beautiful weather like that, but you will not be able to see the horizon. That's realistic conditions. You see to the left, you see horizon, to the right, no horizon at all. So water surface with some surface roughness, you should have that. This game, unfortunately, all 10 years of the game, 11 years of the game, has glancy surface. It should be rough surface, surface roughness allows you to appraise your altitude, your airspeed, and for experienced pilots that was a circling attempt, and for experienced pilots they also can do to evaluate wind for speed and wind direction, wind heading, only watching on sea surface. That's very important. I'm not sure Jason Williams will do that. Of course, our expectations are high. Reality will not be so pleasant. But anyway, that combat pilot should be next step. Canopy close. My controls all set. RPM forward, trims set. And I'm ready to start rolling on my start position. In 5 seconds I will do that. 0 seconds, throttle forward 1500 RPM to start moving. Some reason that engine power is the same for all surfaces. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's my individual perspective. And 150 and stop. In 30 seconds I will do takeoff. Throttle slowly forward in 5 seconds, 39 inches. A little 1 second faster than I needed, but anyway that's normal, that's okay. Doing takeoff, I will switch on TechnoChat to see my RPM, lever position after takeoff. 130 miles per hour takeoff, wheels up, RPM down to 72%, immediately nose down, she's accelerating, and nose up, throttling back to 27 inches. TechnoChat off, I don't need it anymore. She's stabilized in climbing attitude. Absolutely stabilized, beautiful. I like that. I see it with her nose behavior. Nose doesn't pitch up, doesn't pitch down. I will do small corrections in manifold pressure. 26.7.8 is gonna be enough, and my P-40 is perfectly stabilized, which is very convenient for standard group operations. And I will wait until 16,500 feet altitude, then I'm gonna start transitioning into straightened level. Actually in 15,500 I will start transitioning. While transitioning she's gonna gain another 100 or 150 feet. My heading isn't okay, I adjust heading with a small bank right, and my altitude is almost. TechnoChat on. I need it for standard transitioning, minus 10%. Elevator trim, RPM down to 43%. Not touching throttle lever. Standard rudder and aileron. She is pitching nose up, minus 5% more. I wait until she pitches her nose up, that indicates her airspeed is enough or higher than enough, and decrease elevator trim. When I decrease elevator trim 5%, she is pitching nose down and accelerating, and after accelerating enough, she pitches nose up. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. When she's gonna pitch her nose up, I will decrease power on 18.5 inches. (18.7 inches). I've gotten too much fuel in my fuselage tank behind the pilot's seat, and as you can see, altitude is okay, attitude is not okay. Those 18.7 wasn't enough. I set 19.0 inches of manifold pressure. Let's wait and see how she's gonna handle. She's not stabilized. I need to wait a little bit. She will calm down. Okay, my rudder trim settings. I don't need Technochat for rudder, but for aileron trim I need Technochat also. But anyway, for that you don't need Technochat. The most important thing you need Technochat is elevator trim and RPM trim settings on such airplane. RPM gauge isn't quite convenient on this P-40. Now I've changed rudder trim settings one click to the left, to the right, and my heading is 150. Some reason she's banking left. I don't know why. Some reason she's banking left. And I will close my cowl shutters a little bit, right to the neutral. That's about 30% cowl shutters. And not 83 but 82% rudder trim to the left. So now my heading is exactly 150. So let's start my first left 90 degrees turn. Add some power. Maintaining 15 degrees bank angle. She's maintaining 0 vertical speed. I do some corrections with stick, and my new heading is gonna be 060, throttling back to decrease airspeed. And leveling up. 060 heading. And my power is a little bit more than I need. 19.5 is too much. Let's make it 19.0. Well, I watch my vertical speed indicator. Airspeed is 0, but gauge is almost stationary. Still some wobbling is there, but I would say satisfactory result. My airplane is stabilized, but as you can see, my altitude is less than I need. That's still acceptable, because I use 16,500 plus minus 150 feet, but during next left turn I will gain some altitude. Turning left, throttle forward a little bit, extra power, nose up, pulling up a little bit, and let's make it more extra power, more additional excessive power to gain some altitude while banking, while turning. Anyway, that mission part isn't stabilized, not quite stabilized like straight and level stabilized flight, and that's convenient to gain some altitude while turning. .330 heading. My airspeed is probably more than I need. No. Okay. 19.4 inches manifold pressure, and she is stabilized. I will not do any further adjustments. I will practice transition into wheels down, flaps down, final approach configuration. Technochat on. Wheels down, throttle back and forward a little bit, RPM forward, full forward, pulling up, elevator trim to 90%, aileron trim to 12, rudder trim to 22, and not letting her lose altitude, let her lose airspeed. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore, and flaps down, nose down, and throttle forward a little bit, and she's stabilized. She's stabilized in wheels down, flaps down attitude. As you can see, nose doesn't pitch up, doesn't pitch down. Vertical speed indicator is stationary. That's good, but P-40 is my main airplane. I'm quite familiar with that, with her behavior. I had no any doubts this part I will perform well. I should perform well. Next part will be not so good. I should do transition into stabilized climbing. Technochat on, wheels up, throttle forward to 30 inches, flaps half raised, RPM down to 72, elevator trim down to 70. She's accelerating, flaps up. Wait until I was too late. I should decrease our manifold pressure and pitch nose up when she's 150 miles per hour indicated. I was a little bit late, but still, technochat off, I don't need it anymore. Still, that wasn't pretty much bad, but not okay, definitely. This transition, standard transition, is the worst of all transitioning I do, so I know it not quite good, because you do not use it in combat, only in practicing for takeoff circuit and land, practicing. And well, I would say my P-40 is quite stabilized. Quite good. And the next step I will do transition into straight and level, stabilized straight and level attitude. Technochat on for that purpose. Once again, minus 10% elevator trim, RPM down to 43%, rudder trim to standard 84, 82, 83, 84, 2% on right wing aileron trim, she's pitching nose up, minus 5% elevator trim. Heading is okay, pitching nose up, minus 5% more. She pitches nose up, minus 5% more. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. When she's gonna pitch her nose up one more time, I will decrease a manifold pressure to 19.5.4. Still my airspeed is a little bit more than I need, so no more practicing, no more transition into final approach descent practicing. And the next step, I gonna get myself into the approach straight entering area. But this area is gonna be somewhere here. I didn't watch my I've been working with my map, and I've lost the sight of horizon of my wings. That's not right, that's unrealistic. And the 19.4 inches is too much, I would say. But anyway, I will not adjust that. So to get, you should get in this area with heading 90 degrees to that line. So my heading's gonna be, that line is 330, my heading's gonna be 240. So I use this small elongated pond to as a reference, as a landmark, as a terrain feature to start my 90 degrees left turn on 240 heading. It's Southampton behind, underneath my P-40, so I'm somewhere here. Well, East Lane and Romsey, well, East Lane will be on my 3 or 4 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock, and Romsey I will not see underneath my canopy. I will turn left as you can see, I'm losing heading while working with map. That's absolutely unacceptable. I should watch with I should keep one eye on instrument panel, one eye on nose attitude. But I hope Jason Williams will give us proper navigator's toolkit and that proper map, which you will be able to see like this, not losing the sight of instrument panel, not losing the sight of your nose behavior. That elongated small pond is over there, I can see it. I'm somewhere here, I see it on my 10 o'clock. And as you can see, my P-40 is quite stabilized. All temperatures are set. I use standard elevator trim settings, 40%. That's vital for normal group operation. And I think I'm gonna start left turning. That Ramsey is on my 11 and that Eastlake is on my 4-5 o'clock. Okay, starting turning left, banking left, pull up a little bit, additional power, extra power. My new heading is gonna be 240 when it's 30-35 degrees under rotate to your desired heading. You decrease the manifold pressure once again to let her slowing down. So when you level up, her airspeed will be exactly that airspeed you need for stabilized on such on your standard elevator trim settings. As you can see, vertical speed isn't 0, but that's acceptable, I would say. She's gonna calm down in a matter of 20 or 30 seconds. And my next terrain feature is that Lyndhurst city. That approach straight is right over east suburbs of that city, or of that town, sorry, that is small town. And I need to pick up the right timing for my left 90 degrees turn. You need some experience for that, some spatial evaluation. Let's say I would start right now. Once again, additional power, extra power, pulling up, not letting her lose altitude, because losing altitude will cause acceleration. I don't need it, and I should maintain altitude also. My new heading is gonna be 150, so 180, 185. I do throttling back on my standard straight and level manifold pressure settings, pulling up, not letting her lose altitude, watch bank angle and leveling up. She should be stabilized. Where is my airfield? My airfield is on my 12, So I do adjustment, shifting right with a very low bank angle right turn. 3-4 degrees bank angle right turn. And as you can see, my airstrip is 12 o'clock, exactly 12 o'clock. That was very precise, but that would be better if I would have that airstrip not on 12 but on 11-12. So that airstrip should be, or that landing strip should be a little bit to the left, so I would be able to see it while approaching. That shifting right correction part procedure consists of 2 stages: right turn and the same left turn. That's okay. That's okay, but I would say I'm a little bit too far to the right, but anyway, for training mission, that's okay. My altitude is absolutely fine. I should be 1660 feet. That's 500 meters. Plus minus 150 feet margin. Yes, I'm a little bit too far to the right, but that's acceptable. And when that threshold gonna touch my wing, I start left turning and watch my timing when I started that. Group leader should declare that time, and all group members should start their left turn with a 15 seconds delay each next group member. And after completing 180 turn, I will level up and fly straight and level for 7 seconds. That's a P-40's normal 2/4 shifting or opposite heading shifting to have your initial final approach point placed right. So if you start your final approach in the right spot, you're gonna descend right to the landing strip threshold, leveling up in 41 seconds, so plus 7 seconds. In 8 seconds I proceed with my left turning. Technochat on. I will need it for transition procedure. And I will do touchdown and probably normal landing even this time. My transition heading will be 240. I think I'm okay. My range is okay. Altitude is too high. Technochat on. Level up. Wheels down. Throttle back and forward a little bit. RPM forward. Elevator trim to 90%. Not letting her lose altitude. Not letting her gain altitude also. All trims set. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. Not letting her lose altitude. Flaps down, nose down, throttle a little bit forward. She should be stabilized. Yes, she's stabilized. I like it. I love it. That's a standard transition. That's skill, that practice. I would say I'm a little bit higher than I need. I should decrease power, but I will do that landing anyway. I can decrease power and change my approach angle a little bit. She's gonna be stabilized anyway. I will do that landing. Touchdowns are very bad lately. Yes, I was a little bit higher than I need. Those extra 100 feet wasn't good, and I've gained some altitude. That was my error, my mistake. Okay, do landing. Throttle back. Not a bad touchdown, but still accelerating for takeoff. 39 inches, flaps up, 70% elevator trim, 0 aileron trim, and 35 wheels up, RPM down to 72%, let her accelerate, and she is stabilized in climbing attitude. Well, that wasn't awful, but not good procedure. And touchdown was, I would say, 6 out of 10. Maybe 7 out of 10. Not the worst touchdown I had lately. I will climb to my normal 500 meters altitude. That's gonna be 16,500 feet, and we'll do transition into straight and level and repeat approach. Very boring, very long approach procedure, overhead brake pattern procedure, and after that I will do what we call in Russian коробочка or carousel roundabout. I will do only touchdown landing training procedure without normal approach, without normal overhead brake pattern procedure. That will be only touchdown training, transitioning into straight and level. Minus 5% more. Maintain heading. Oh, we got TeamSpeak. They should have Discord also. They should place that TeamSpeak server in description. Minus 5% more. She's pitching nose up -5% more. Technochart off, I don't need it anymore. When she's gonna pitch nose up once again, I will reduce power. 19.4 is enough, and immediately left turn, additional power. Maintaining 15 degrees bank angle, maintaining 0 vertical speed. She's stabilized. I've increased manifold pressure, so she accelerated a little bit, decreasing manifold pressure. 060 is my new heading, desired heading. Watch my bank angle. She's a little bit high and leveling up. So I would say I'm 100 feet more, I have altitude 100 feet more than I need. But anyway, let's maintain our turning. Let's make it, and I will let her lose altitude a little bit while turning, so I've decreased power, not letting her lose altitude too much, because that will cause increase in airspeed. That's bad for stabilized attitude. Airspeed is a key for everything, for every stabilized attitude settings. Now my airspeed is too much. I can feel it. And okay, I will do some straight and level flight. I understand that mission is quite boring, even more boring than my combat missions, but I like it, I need it. I should practice that more often. Well, later today will be historical air war combat mission, and I would like to try and do some combat sortie in a group of allied bombers, but I'm really not sure I will be able to do that. I ain't got no time for that. That's a shame. Well, tomorrow probably I will do another stream. I hope. I don't know. Maybe that's gonna be A20 practice, or maybe combat, maybe some Berloga, I don't know. Historical air war training, even for sure almost for sure will not be available. If historical air war training will be available, I will do P-40 combat strafing mission, because they will switch off training server very soon. So I would like to do some practicing. As you can see, my P-40 is absolutely stabilized right now. I've been changing rudder trim settings a little bit. She has tendency to bank left. Now I think I balanced her with rudder trim, not elevator trim. Elevator trim is also set, but rudder trim is more precise, more fine-tuning instrument for your more fine-tuning tool for your wing level balance. My side slip angle is 0 or almost 0. That's acceptable, but she still has left banking tendency. Or maybe that's me. Okay, where is that? That's small elongated pond. But I like almost stabilized. As you can see, I've lost only 15 feet of altitude, and I flew maybe 25 clicks. About 15 miles I flew. That's acceptable, more than acceptable, I would say. That's quite good. .330 heading, absolutely fine. Let's start our left 90 degrees turn, which will be followed by another 90 degrees turn in very short notice. Okay, she stabilized. Acceleration was good. She's even gaining altitude. I don't need that, because not only because of altitude itself, but gaining altitude, pitching nose up causes losing airspeed. I don't need it. Leveling up a little bit. I can see my airfield. Yes, no, I'm not able to see it. Wait a little bit more. A little bit more. And turn left. I would say I was perfect. That was perfect. That was perfect. 150 leveling up. not letting her lose altitude. 19.4 inches manifold pressure should be okay, and I even don't need to do any shifting left or shifting right adjustment. That's what we call in Russian precise, like in a drugstore. Very precise. Some reason today she's got tendency to bank left more than usual. I don't know why. That okay. Well, I'm quite far to the right, but that's, I would say, very good. Not fine, but very good. And once again I will mark the timing when the landing strip threshold touches my wing. That was 55 seconds. I should declare that if I'm group leader and all group members will do the left turn, will start the left turn 15 seconds later, with the 15 seconds delay each next group member. So second will do in 10 seconds, third will do in 25 seconds, fourth will do in 40 seconds, fifth will do in 55 seconds, sixth will do in 10 seconds, and so on. Now I do 180, standard 15 degrees bank angle turn without losing or gaining altitude, and leveling up for opposite headings shifting. That's going to be 7 seconds shifting, and then or 2/4 shifting from my circling and then I will do another 90 degrees left turn and start transitioning into wheels down, flaps down, final approach descending configuration. Throttling back, leveling up. Watch, I leveled up in 39 seconds. In 46 seconds I will commence left turn. Altitude is absolutely fine. Let's make it better than last time, and let's make another good touchdown. I bet this touchdown will be not so good as previous, because after a long break, everything you do better first time. Some reason. my ranging is okay, you should watch your landing strip and evaluate your engine. Okay, technochat on, leveling up, wheels down, throttle back and forward a little bit, RPM forward, full forward, elevator trim up to 90%, aileron trim, not letting her gain altitude, aileron trim 11, rudder trim 22, technochat off, I don't need it anymore, not letting her lose altitude, not let her lose altitude, that was bad, flaps down, nose down. Once again, I'm a little bit higher than I need because I've gained some altitude probably. That final approach is already not so good as last time. I will do the touchdown. Just like I said, not so good as last time. 37.5 inches. Technochat on. Back. That was very complicated part. I didn't do that right, but I will practice. And as you can see, I'm climbing and turning the same time. On 1/4 I level up for 17-18 seconds. The procedure of getting yourself in the final approach initial point is not the same, and commands proceed with climbing turn. I remember after completing the turn I should wait 40 seconds till final third 90 degrees turn. That was 30 seconds. In 10 seconds I will start technochat off on. I will start my third 90 degrees turn, transitioning into straight and level. Two seconds, 1 second, go. Technochat off. I don't need it anymore. How about our engine? I'm too close. No, I'm okay. I would say I'm absolutely fine. My altitude isn't enough. while turning you can afford yourself to gain some altitude. My ranging is absolutely fine, absolutely fine. Altitude is fine. Airspeed isn't enough a little bit. 240, technochat on, leveling up, wheels down, throttle back and forth a little bit, RPM forward, full forward, elevator trim 90%, banking left, not letting her lose altitude, aileron not letting her gain altitude, aileron 11, 22 rudder trim, not letting her lose altitude. Do not lose altitude, lose airspeed, flaps down, nose down, throttle forward. She's stabilized. That's fine. Now I would say I'm a little bit lower than I need, or maybe I'm fine on my glide slope, on my final approach trajectory. Yes, this approach is the best from all. I like it because this short circle is not so familiar to me. I'm not so familiar for that short circle procedure, but previous training missions works. And I will do another touchdown. It's gonna be a long touchdown. As you can see, that's my bad, my error. Chat on, flaps up. That was a mistake. Trim down to 70. Rudder trim to 35. I was late on takeoff. I was late on wheels up. I'm rusty, very rusty, and my bank angle was too much. I was late on throttling back. I need more practicing. But everything else is quite good. That's a short circle for I'm leveling up to give myself 1/4 shifting. That's 17-18 seconds shifting. That's from circling part. I don't know how to say it in English. Circling training part, or circling training. That's an expression. 1/4 shifting. When you shift, when you level up and fly straight, not turning, you shift your circle center with that movement. And what I do right now is the same circle, like when you're strafing or bombing some enemy target. That's the same circle, but in easy conditions. I was too late on leveling up. I was too late. That was my bad. I was distracted by explaining you that thing. So 47 seconds I leveled up. So in 27 seconds I will do my third left 90 degrees turn. Very clumsy. Very clumsy. I was too late. altitude isn't enough. Well, but anyway, how about my ranging? Ranging is okay. I was a little bit higher than I need last time, some reason, probably because I've been keeping too much manifold pressure on initial final approach phase. Let's make it right this time. Ranging is okay, absolutely fine. Okay, technochat on, 240 heading, leveling up, wheels down, throttle back and forward a little bit, RPM full forward, elevator trim 90%, banking left, aileron trim 11%, not letting her gain altitude, that was my bad. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. Pull up, 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 flaps down, nose down, throttle forward a little bit. She's stabilized. I like that airplane, she's so good in this sequence and this procedure. A20 is also, but P-40 is my favorite. Such a pilot's airplane. I'm perfectly on my glide slope, I would say. A little bit higher than I need, maybe on, no, perfectly on my glide slope. That would be a great approach. Let's make it a good touchdown. As you can see, she is stabilized, which is very convenient after a combat mission. To do such a great stabilized approach is a great fun. Many players do not understand that, do not feel that. Absolutely perfect, absolutely fine. Leveling up, throttling back. Oh, that was best. That was the best touchdown I had. Throttle forward, 37.5 inches. Elevator trim down to 70. Aileron trim neutral, 35. Rudder trim accelerating. And take off. Wheels up. RPM down to 72. She's accelerating. And throttle back. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. I didn't, that was my bad, that was terrible mistake, I didn't retract flaps. I'm doing those mistakes, I'm keeping commands, keeping those, I keep doing those mistakes, those errors. My operational readiness is absolutely unacceptable. And for now, let's make it another landing, and that's it for me today. Leveling up in 23 seconds. Transition into straight and level. 23 seconds, so in 0.3 seconds I will start turning left once again. Altitude is a little bit high, but not a problem. Turning left. Technochat off, I don't need it anymore. Throttle back. How about my ranging? I would say it's okay. I'm a little bit far, I would say. No, yes, range is too much, so I will start my transition into final approach configuration 2 seconds later to compensate that. Chat on. I would say my altitude isn't enough. I should be a little bit higher than that, but still that's gonna be great, normal approach. Yes, you can, while having stabilized, having your airplane stabilized, you can a little bit adjust manifold pressure and change approach angle a little bit for your convenience, for your liking. This approach is gonna be fine. Let's make it normal landing and landing run and taxi into parking place. Great approach, the best. Bad touchdown. Landing run. I do not use brakes. That's much more interesting, much more challenging, and in some game will be realistic because slippery surfaces will do braking dangerous. 1200 RPM, shift left for clearing runway, high speed taxiing procedure. Throttling back. She changes her behavior when you're throttling back. You should be ready for that. Trim neutral. She changes her behavior once again, and look back right. I was too fast. I use brakes and start taxiing, clearing the runway and start normal taxiing. That was a circling attempt. I was forced to apply brakes on low speed. I see no harm from that, but still you should be able to do that without using brakes. That's much more challenging, much more interesting, So very short training mission, very short practice today. I still can't say if I will do any more streams today. Maybe not very likely, but maybe I will do historical air war combat if Russian speaking guys on bombers will appear. I should reduce power. 1040 RPM was too much. So I would like to fly in formation in big bombers group, big bomber group, for big bomber formation, but I'm not sure they will play today. I've touched the gravel once again. Once again, circling attempt. I've managed to stop it with my rudder movement, full left rudder movement. Well, some good practice and no bad touchdowns. So no wind, no turbulence, no fatigue, and I had couple circling, maybe 3 circling, some more circling attempts, but I didn't damage my airplane. I didn't have any bad landings, but during combat my landings on P-40 were nowhere near good. Last month, so I was glad to do that training mission. I should repeat it. Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks later. S-turning taxiing without using brakes on asphalt tarmac requires very gentle rudder handling. You can do it wrong very easy. Anyway, P-40 is the most comfortable airplane on taxiing for me. Not easy, you should practice. If you do not use brakes, you should do some practicing to gain those, to evolve those skills. But when you learn how taxi without using brakes, you will use that skill for your own sake. I will place myself on an exact same position where I have spawned, where I have spawned. I know that's on populated server that would be dangerous. But no one's here. Increase power. That type of surface requires more power. 1300 RPM, actually not 10, much more power. And okay, engines off. So let's say that's it for today. Maybe I'll have another stream, I don't know. Let's wait and see. But anyway, in case I will not, thank you all for watching and goodbye.